Hello friends, welcome to my second lecture on Cauchy's integral theorem. Here we are going to consider the third case where C is any simple closed curve in the complex plane, and we will be showing that integral of f z along C is equal to 0. So, let us say this is your simple closed curve. Let us take any simple closed curve in the complex z plane. Okay. This is your point z naught. Then we have z1. We divided this curve C into n parts by means of points z naught, z1, z2, z3 and so on, zn minus 1 zn. Zn coincides with z naught. So, choose n points of subdivision z1, z2, zn on the curve C where z naught coincides with zn, and so that we construct this polygon by joining z naught to z1, z1 to z2, z2 to z3, z3 to z4 and so on, zn minus 1 to zn. We have already proved that integral over C f z dz equal to 0 if C is a closed polygon. Okay. So, let us define then the sum Sn to be equal to sigma k equal to 1 to n f z k delta z k, where delta z k equal to z k minus 1. Actually, some Sn is here k equal to 1 to n f z k delta z k. Here zeta m or you can say zeta k we have chosen as z k. Then see, we have earlier when we defined the integral over C f z dz as the limit of a sum, we had written integral over C Sn equal to sigma m equal to 1 to n f zeta m delta zm. Okay. As we had seen earlier, zeta m can be chosen arbitrarily on the arc of the curve joining zm minus 1 to zm. So, that zeta m is chosen as zm here. Okay. So, let us define Sn equal to sigma k equal to 1 to n f z k delta z k, where delta z k minus 1. Then we know that Sn when n goes to infinity tends to integral over C f z dz, where maximum of mod of delta z k 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n goes to 0. So, n goes to 0 in such a way that this maximum length goes to 0. Then limit of Sn is equal to this. So, from this definition, okay, definition of limit for a given epsilon greater than 0, we can find an n naught belonging to the set of natural numbers n, such that mod of integral over C f z dz minus Sn is less than epsilon by 2 for all n greater than n naught. Okay. Now, P is the closed polygon, you see here, this is P. P is this closed polygon joining z naught to z1, z1 to z2 and so on, zn minus 1 to zn. So, integral over C integral over P f z dz equal to 0, this we have already proved, this is by case 2. Okay. In 0 equal to integral over P f z dz. Now, this integral over P f z dz can be written as sigma I equal to 1 to n integral over z I minus 1 to z I f z dz. Okay, because P consists of the line segments joining z naught to z1, z1 to z2 and so on. So, we can write it as sum of those n integrals. Okay. And then what I do, sigma I equal to 1 to n integral over z I minus 1 to z I subtract f z I here and add f z I. Okay. So, when I add f z I, this Sn is nothing but sigma I equal to 1 to n integral over z I minus 1 to z I f z I, you can say. Okay. So, that I subtract f z I here and add f z I. Whatever is I am adding, that comes inside this Sn. Okay. Now, but then this sum is equal to 0. So, Sn will be equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n integral over z I minus 1 to z I and then f z I minus f z dz. By using the fact that this sum is equal to 0, I get Sn like this. Okay. Now, let us choose n naught to be so large, we have n naught here, this n naught, let us choose n naught to be so large that on the lines joining z naught and z1, z1 and z2, zn minus 1 and zn, mod of f z I minus f z. Okay. Mod of f z I minus f z is less than epsilon by 2. So, then what will happen? This follows from the continuity. Okay. So, mod of f z I minus f z is less than epsilon by 2 L, where L is the length of the curve C, the given curve C. then mod of Sn will be less than epsilon by 2. You can see here mod of Sn will be equal to less than or equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n integral over z I minus 1 to z I, okay, mod of f z I minus f z into dz. Okay. So, mod of f z I minus f z is less than epsilon by 2 l. So, this is less than sigma I equal to 1 to n epsilon by 2 l into length of the line joining z I to z I minus 1. So, mod of z I minus 1. Okay. Now, this is equal to epsilon by 2 l sigma I equal to 1 to n mod of z I minus 1. Okay. And if you see here this length, okay, mod of z naught minus z1 minus z naught plus z1 minus mod of z1 minus z2 mod of z2 minus z3, this will be definitely less than the length of this one when you are because this is the length of the polygon. Of course, some part of the polygon lies outside, but as n goes to infinity, this will give us tend to length of the curve. So, this will be less than epsilon by 2 l into l. Okay. This will be equal to epsilon by 2. So, when n is sufficiently large, this length sigma I equal to 1 to n mod of S I minus z I minus 1 will tend to L epsilon by 2. So, you can see n naught is sufficiently large. So, this can be mod of S n will be less than epsilon by 2. Now, mod of integral over C f z dz is less than or equal to mod of integral over C f z dz minus S n plus mod of S n, and mod of integral over C f z dz minus S n is less than epsilon by 2. This we have seen here, okay, for all n z greater than n naught, and mod of S n is also less than epsilon by 2. So, this is less than epsilon, and epsilon is arbitrary. So, we can say integral over C f z dz equal to 0. So, this is how we prove that integral of f z along any simple closed path is equal to 0 if f z is analytic in a simply connected domain D and C lies inside D. Okay. Now, let us consider a multiply connected domain. We are going to do Cauchy integral theorem for multiply connected domain. So, let us consider doubly connected domain here. The boundary of the domain consists of two parts. Okay. So, let us name them as C1 and C2. So, this is my C1 and this is C2. Okay. Let us construct a cross cut AH. Then what we do we see? C is the boundary of the region R, which consists of A, B, D, E, F, G, A and H, J, I, H. Okay, H, J, I, H, traversed in the sense that an observer walking on the boundary of the region R, a boundary always has the region R on its left. Okay. Then what do we see? You can see integral over A, B, D, E, F, G, A, okay, and then I move along this direction H, okay, J, I, then I come back to H, I move in this direction A. Okay. This is equal to 0, because now by taking a cross cut we have found a simple closed curve. Okay. And then I break it into parts. So, integral over A, B, D, E, F, G, A, then integral over AH, then integral over H, J, I, H, and then integral over H, A. This is equal to 0. Okay. Integral over AH and integral over HA cancel, okay, and then I write integral over AB DE F GA, okay, ABDE FGA and HJIH. Okay. So, integral over HJIH. and our C consists of A, B, D, F, G, A and H, G, I, S. So, we can say that this gives us integral over C F, Z, D, Z equal to 0. So, this is the Cauchy integral theorem for a multiply connected domain. Now, let us look at Cauchy consequences of Cauchy integral theorem. Suppose we have a simple closed curve C in the Cauchy's theorem, we can divide it into two arcs, okay, C1 and C2 star. So, this is my curve C, okay, this is my curve C. I divide it into two parts by from Z1 to Z2, this is my C1 curve, okay, and then C2 star is this. So, then you can see integral over, if this is A, B, C and here I take a point F, then integral over A, B, C, F, A, C, F, A, F, Z, D, Z equal to 0. Now, this gives you integral over C1, C1 joins Z1 to Z2, Z1 I have named as A, Z2 I have named as C. So, integral over C1 F, Z, D, Z equal to 0 and then integral over, this is C, F, A is C, F, A is C2 star. So, integral over C2 star, okay. Let us divide the path C in Cauchy into two arcs C1 and C2 star. This is my C1 and this is C2 star. So, integral over C2 star will be equal to 0. Okay. Now, this will give you integral over C1 F, Z, D, Z equal to minus integral over C2 star F, Z, D, Z. And if you reverse the sense of integration along C2 star, then I get C2 curve. So, this gives you integral over C1 F, Z, D, Z equal to integral over C2. So, so what it actually tells us that in a simply connected domain, if you take any 2 points Z1 and Z2, okay, and then you take join Z1 to Z2, integral of Fz, okay, along any path that joins Z1 to Z2 and lies inside the simply connected domain remains same, it does not change. I mean, I joined Z1 to Z2 by the curve C1, I get whatever value I get the same value if I join Z1 to Z2 by other curve C2. Okay. So, this is a property of the analytic functions. Now, so this is integral over C1 equal to integral over C2. Now, hence if Fz is analytic in a simply connected domain D and C1 C2 are any two paths in D which have no further points in common, then integral over C1 Fdz becomes integral over integral of Fz dz over C2. Okay. Now, if C1 and C2 have finitely many points in common, then also this equation holds. Let us see how we get that. Suppose this curve, okay, Z1 and Z2 are joined by the two curves C1 and C2, okay, which have this point S and this point common. Okay. So, there are finitely many points that are common. Then what I do, integral along C1, integral along C1, integral along C2, we have to show that integral along C1 Fz dz is equal to integral along C2 Fz dz. So, in order to prove this, I consider first this part, this part. So, in parts we will consider integral along this. So, let me call it as A, this is B and this is let me say C and this is D and this is E. Okay. So, then integral, let me take a point here. So, integral along ACB, okay, integral along ACB Fz dz, okay, is equal to integral along APB. We can do it in parts by our previous result. Okay. So, integral over ACB is equal to integral over APB. Similarly, integral over B to this one C, okay, by taking other points Q and then you can take here point R, integral over BQC is equal to integral over B R C. And then integral over C S T. Okay. So, let us say this is S point, okay, C S D is equal to integral over C T D. And lastly, we consider this one. Okay. So, let me say U here and B here. Okay. So, d U E is equal to integral over T B E. So, now add these all these equations. Okay. Add all these equations, we get integral over C1 f z dz equal to integral over C2 f z dz. Okay. So, if the two curves C1 and C2 have finitely many points in common, then again integral over C1 f z dz equal to integral over C2 f z dz. In fact, it can be shown that if C1 and C2 have infinitely many points in common, then also this result holds. Okay. So, now let us so integral over C1 is always equal to integral over C2 if the function f z is analytic in a simply connected domain D and C1 and C2 lie completely inside D, which join any 2 points Z1 and Z2 inside D. Okay. Now, let us look at this property of analytic functions. See, integral over C1 f z dz equal to integral over C2 f z dz can be imagined as if C2 has been obtained from C1 by a continuous deformation of path. You can see, if you continuously deform C1 and keep Z1 and Z2 fixed. Okay. Continuous deformation if you do, we will come to this. Okay. So, by continuous deformation of C1 which joins Z1 and Z2, okay, we can obtain the curve C2. So, by if you continuously deform the path which joins any 2 points Z1 and Z2 in the inside a simply connected domain, the integral of the function does not change. That is what it says. So, if in this 4 integral over C1 f z dz equal to integral over C2 f z dz, we imagine that the path C2 is obtained from C1 by continuous deformation, then in a given contour integral we may continuously deform the contour keeping the endpoints fixed without changing the value of the integral, provided we do not pass through a point where f z is not analytic. This is known as principle of deformation of path. Now, let us show that integral over C f z dz equal to 0 in the case where C is the boundary of a ring shaped region bounded by circle C1 and C2 as shown in this figure. Okay. And also deduce that integral over C1 1 by z dz equal to integral over C2 1 by z dz. Now, here you can see we are having 2 circles. Okay. The circle C1 has radius B, center origin, the circle C2 has radius A and center origin. Okay. We have joined the 2 circles by a cross cut, this cross cut AB. Okay. Then what do we notice? If we use Cauchy integral theorem, the integral over this one, okay, integral over this is my curve C1, this is my curve C2. Okay. So, here integral over by the this one we have earlier done this Cauchy integral theorem for a multiply connected domain. Okay. By using Cauchy integral theorem for a multiply connected domain, integral over C1 will be equal to integral over C2. Here we are taking the clock by direction along C1 as well as the clock by direction along C2. We have seen in the Cauchy integral theorem for a multiply connected domain that integral along the 2 boundaries, okay, remains equal and the sense also is same. So, here the sense is anti-clockwise direction along C1, so along C2 also it is clockwise. Okay. So, integral over C1 1 by z dz equal to integral over C2 1 by z dz by using the multiply connected Cauchy integral theorem for a multiply connected domain. What we will do is we will move along the curve and then the cross cut, okay, so that it becomes a simple closed curve, and then the integral will be 0 by Cauchy integral theorem. Integral along a b will cancel, because once we will move from a to b, and once we will move from b to a, and we will be able to get this. Now, let us evaluate line integrals by indefinite integral. Cauchy integral theorem can be used to evaluate integrals by indefinite integral. You can see, suppose f z is analytic in a simply connected domain D, then this integral, let us look at this integral. This is a function of z for all paths which lie in D and join z naught and z. Let us take any domain D, okay. Say z naught is a point here and z is another point, okay. Then integral of f w with respect to w from z naught to z, where z naught and z can be joined by any curve which lies wholly inside D, okay. So, then this is a function of z, I can I denote it by f z, okay, and this because z can take any value. So, this is a function of z, and this is called an indefinite integral of f z. So, we by our previous theorem, f z is independent of the path. We have earlier seen, okay, that the value of f z will remain same if we can join them, we can join z naught to z by any curve, okay, as long as the curve lies completely inside D, the value of the integral does not change. So, by our previous theorem, f z is independent of the path joining z naught and z, provided f z is analytic in D and the path lies wholly inside D. The function f z defined in this equation is analytic in D and its derivative is f z. So, we are going to show that this function f z equal to z naught to z f w d w is analytic, and its derivative is equal to f z. So, we are going to show that f z is analytic for all z in D and f prime z equal to f z, okay. So, what do you do is, let us consider let us consider in the domain D we have z naught here, z is any point, let us keep it fixed, and let us take another point z plus delta z which is also inside D, okay, the domain D. Then f z plus delta z, let us consider f z plus delta z minus f z, okay, divided by, let us consider f z plus delta z minus f z divided by delta z. So, this will be by definition integral from z naught to z plus delta z f w d w minus integral from z naught to z f w d w into 1 by delta z, okay. Now, I can write it as minus z naught to z, I can write as z to z naught. So, z to z naught, then z naught to z plus delta z will be equal to 1 over delta w integral z to z plus delta z f w d w, okay. And then I can this will give me f z plus delta z minus f z divided by delta z minus f prime z. Let me subtract f prime z both sides, f z both sides. So, then this will be equal to 1 by delta z integral z to z plus delta z f w minus this I can do because z is independent of w, z is fixed, okay, this z is fixed. So, f z is a constant, okay. So, integral over z to z plus delta z dw will be delta z will cancel. So, this f z I can bring inside the integral, okay. So, now what we do, so thus we have Okay, we have this. Okay, now what I do is, this is my domain. Okay, here is z naught, here is z, and here is z plus delta z. Okay, by the continuity of f z at z, okay, we have, for a given epsilon greater than 0, there exists delta greater than 0 such that mod of f w minus f z is less than epsilon whenever mod of w minus z is less than delta. Let us choose delta z to be so small that mod of delta z is less than delta. If we do that, then what will happen? Mod of f z plus delta z minus f z divided by delta z, okay, minus f z will be less than or equal to 1 over mod of delta z into mod of integral over z to z plus delta z f w minus f z dw. Okay. So, we choose delta z to be so small that the line segment joining z to z plus delta z lies completely inside the domain, okay. And then what will happen? Mod of f w minus f z will be less than epsilon for all w such that mod of z w minus z is less than delta. So, mod of for any w lying between z to z plus delta z, okay, this will be less than delta, okay. So, what we will have? This is less than 1 by delta z into epsilon times delta z, we have this, okay. Mod of f w minus f z will be less than epsilon, and we will have mod of z plus delta z minus z, which is mod of delta z. So, this will cancel and we will get this is less than epsilon, okay. So, since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, it follows that limit delta z tends to 0 f z plus delta z minus f z over delta z is equal to f z, which implies that f prime z is equal to f z. Okay. So, f z is differentiable, okay. F z is differentiable at any z, and therefore, f z is analytic, and further that f prime z is equal to f z. So, this is how we prove this theorem, where we have shown that the integral of a function f z which is analytic in a simply connected domain can be evaluated easily by indefinite integral. With this, I would like to end my lecture. Thank you very much for your attention.